Hey, question for you on this morning workout. Hey, why do you have your plumbing business? Hey man, how you answer that question will determine whether you're going to be successful or just one of the stats. Hey man, again, welcome to the morning workout. All right, up before the sun, getting it done. Sun's starting to come up here in southwestern Florida. It's going to be another beautiful day. Oh, shower always seems to kind of roll through late afternoon. But they don't call it the Sunshine State for nothing. All right, it's always sunny here in Florida. All right, hey, good to have you here. My question, why do you have your plumbing business? All right, very important question you gotta answer. Look, if you're like most out there, most guys out there, and I'm sure you are, okay? I've talked with thousands of you. All right, and I've been in this business now for over 40 years, okay? None of us dreamed of becoming a plumber, okay? We just kind of fell into plumbing. We got into plumbing and then we found out, hey, we were pretty good at it, right? And then it hit us, hey, instead of making money for that guy, I'll do my own thing and make all the money myself. Okay, and we get in and we start it, and that's how we start our plumbing businesses, all right? Overall, that's the common story. Okay, and it was for me too. Okay, but we get into things, okay, and I mentioned the stats here. The stats tell us that 95% of all plumbing businesses fail within the first 3 to 5 years. I mean, are just gone, okay? And of those that survive are doing just that, okay? They're just surviving. 97% that survive, of that 5% remaining, are just surviving, living week to week, job to job, paycheck to paycheck, robbing Paul to pay Peter, all those kinds of things, There's always more month left at the end of the money, okay? All right, it's just how it goes. And it's largely the reason for why, we have our plumbing business in the first place. I say it, well, first of all, the reason why a lot of plumbing businesses fail or just surviving, if you happen to make it if you made it through, but you're just surviving, either one, it's because you don't understand the business of plumbing. You think it's about plumbing. You've heard me talk about that. It ain't about plumbing. It's about the business. And you were never taught the business of plumbing. Okay, you were never taught business, finance, first of all in school. Okay, and I'm talking, high school, through all that. Okay, you're just taught how to take tests. All right, how to be a cog in the machine. Okay, how to get in line and be a slave to the matrix, okay? That's what school's all about. And if you went to college, or odds you didn't go to college, okay? Because you have your plumbing business. And just say for the few out there, I've had clients that have gone and wound up buying a plumbing business, okay? But went to college, okay? And say you were taught finance and those kinds of things. You still weren't taught the business of plumbing, okay? There is a unique process, okay, systems, in certain equations that you've got to know to be successful in your plumbing business. And by the way, we teach all that in the Success Academy, okay? And if you're interested, if you're at that point, you want to know more about that, let's have a conversation. Go to milliondollarplumber.com/call. Schedule your call. We'll have a conversation, okay? But you weren't taught the business, okay? Now, if you get past the business, a very part of your success has to do with understanding the business. And quite frankly, now having been in it now for over 40 years and having my own plumbing business, started literally from my kitchen table, no money, a few hand tools and a piece of crap truck, grew it into a large multi-million dollar plumbing operation and wound up selling it for a lot of money. And now I've coached literally hundreds of guys, okay, and what we call PPCs, plumbing power couples, okay. If that's you, that's a good thing. A lot of power. There's a reason why they're power plumbing couples. But having coached, and worked with literally hundreds, okay, I found this to be definitely true, that 20% of your success of your plumbing business has to do with understanding the business, the equations, okay, the right kind of systems to have in place, your SOPs, standard operating procedures, and those kinds of things, okay? That's about 20% of your success has to do with understanding those kinds of things. That leaves 80%. 80% of your success has to do with your mindset, okay? And that gets back to my question. Why do you have your plumbing business? I didn't ask why did you start, because we usually just start, we fall into it. Instead of making that guy money, I'll make the money, okay? We do it for that. But why do you have your plumbing business? You have to answer that question. Why do you have your plumbing business? It has to do with 80% of your success, okay? Let me tell you why you don't have your plumbing business. It's not to make a lot of money. If it's about the money, that's not enough oomph. It's not going to give you enough grit to get off the mat when you get knocked down, okay? If it's to provide great service, okay, I'm going to provide the best service in town, that ain't enough, okay? That's just BS. Of course you're going to provide great service, okay? Yeah, we got to do that, okay? Or I'm going to provide a great opportunity for guys. I'm going to have the best team, the best plumbers. That ain't enough to get you off the mat, okay? When you get knocked down, and you will get knocked down, to get through, these systems, the equations, the SOPs, the processes to put in place really are simple. That's the good news. Really are simple, but they're not easy. And they're not easy because you've been conditioned to think a certain way. You've been conditioned to get in line, okay? You've been conditioned to take the test. You've been conditioned to be just a cog in the matrix, okay? And then you got into plumbing, and you've been conditioned, for the way to look at the way you provide the service. You were, trained to be a good to great, tradesman, right? A great plumber. So you were conditioned to make it all about the plumbing. Okay, I got to know all about the plumbing. Your business success has nothing to do about plumbing. Yes, we're doing plumbing, but it has nothing to do with plumbing. Okay, so it's not easy getting out of that conditioned mindset. Okay, so you got to be able to answer for yourself, why do I have this plumbing business? And it's things like it has to be more emotional, more powerful for you. Okay, so it could be something like I just want to be in control. I want to do what I want to do. I want my life. So if I want to take off, on a Friday, I can take off on a Friday. Okay, like I can go. I can provide things like, I want a certain lifestyle, okay, a certain house, okay, I want to raise my family in a certain kind of community, all right, I want opportunities for my kids, all right, those kinds of things, okay, I want to help my community, I want to be able to give to my church, okay, I have a private client I'm working with right now where they want to build orphanages. Okay, they come from that kind of background, so that's on their heart. Okay, we want to build orphanages. All right, and that's not they don't have the ability right now, but that's why they have their plumbing business. So when they're dealing with trying to figure out the marketing, we got equations, the right way to do the marketing to be able to attract customers and those kinds of things. But there's still a process and a learning process, and it doesn't always go smoothly, those kinds of things. Or as you're hiring guys and you just don't get the right guys right off the bat, you're dealing with those problems. Or the problem customers, there's always problem customers. Okay, there's customers out there that are just looking to rip you off, and it's frustrating. Okay, to be able to go through all that, you have to have a strong why, okay, on why you're doing this. So that's a very important question you need to be able to answer for yourself. And it ain't about plumbing. And if this doesn't make any sense to you, and you have a plumbing business, and it's like, well, of course it's about plumbing. I'm going to tell you just from, I'm older than a lot of you, okay? I'm old enough to be your dad, but most of us, at least an older brother. I'm just going to tell you straightforward, man, get the fuck out of having the plumbing business and go be a good plumber somewhere, because you're killing your family, all right? You just set yourself up for failure. And when you fail with the plumbing business, you go bankrupt. It's just not like going to get a new job. I mean, that destroys you financially, okay, for down the road. And there's a big expense for going bankrupt, okay, both financially and emotionally. So if what I'm talking about here sounds like, well, this guy is full of shit. Who is this wanker? Okay, as one of my Aussie commenters said, this guy's a wanker. Hey, Go be a Crocodile Dundee for some plumbing company, man. Okay, get out of the plumbing business because you're the wanker. All right, you're hurting your family if you think it's about plumbing. Okay, but if this makes sense, okay, and it should, that's a good thing. Okay, if inside you're feeling, man, I know this is, I don't even like plumbing. In fact, the guys I hear to say, I don't even like plumbing, all right, anymore. You're going to be successful with your plumbing business if, okay, also your mind's starting to head in that right place, and you gather those understandings and then understand the business of plumbing. Okay, and if you're there, hey, let's talk. Okay, go to milliondollarplumber.com/call and have a conversation with my team. We're just going to find out. We want to know more about your plumbing business, what's standing in your way of your success. Okay, what's the issue, and most often there's issues, but what's the issue? And then we're going to point you in the right direction. Okay, it's just simple conversation. All right, I'd like to help you with that. If your mind's in the right place, it's a waste of your time and certainly our time. Okay, if you're just looking to be a great plumber. All right, odds are you're already a good plumber. Okay, but if you're looking to have a great plumbing business, a thriving, self-sustaining, very profitable plumbing business, let's talk. All right, there you go. Okay, answer that question for yourself. Why do I have my plumbing business? All right, as always, get out there, man. Okay, all right, seize your day. You're not meant to be comfortable. Get out there and get it done. All right, be dangerous. Plumb like a champion.